problems that you were working on, struggling on. Let's see, which question was it? Question 10, I believe. Okay. So, and these were the ones I think that you struggle with, was just being able to pick out the equation from the graph. Remember, A is your amplitude. B is the number that is figuring out with your period. And so on these, your period for cosine and sine are always going to be two, not always 2 pi, but your normal one is 2 pi. So when you figure out the other ones, you have to use that 2 pi divided by B. So, that's my drawing. All right. So if we're looking at this one, it starts here in the middle, right? And we can look at it from here if we wanted to, here to here. Notice it goes up to 4 and it also goes down to 4. So we don't really have a midline. The midline is going to be right here in the middle. Okay. So that means that the amplitude is pretty easy to see. The amplitude of this is going to be 4. Okay. So the amplitude equals 4. And because it goes right through the middle, I'm going to use sine. And again, you could have used cosine and transformation, but obviously sine is going to be the easiest one for this. And because it goes through the origin, we don't really have a vertical shift. So we know it's going to be 4 sine, and then we need to figure out what is this b value that's going to be in front of x, okay? And so to do that, we can look at the distance between from here to here. That's one cycle, okay? And really the distance is 5 pi here and 5 pi here. So that's going to give you 10 pi. So we're going to look at 2 pi over b is equal to 10 pi, okay? And to solve for b, this is like over 1. We'll cross multiply. So 10 pi times b equals 2 pi divided by 10 pi divided by 10 pi. And so you end up with b equals, the pi's will cancel, 1/5. So our equation will end up being y equals 4 sine of 1/5 x, okay? So I hope that makes some sense. This one was a little bit easier because it went through the origin. It wasn't a shifting, a horizontal or vertical shift. But I'm going to do one of the cosecants with you on the other one. Right. So I'm going to stop the sharing. And I'm going to pull up your other quiz. Okay. All right, so here's your other one. And so I think the main ones that you were struggling on again is the finding the equations, which are more difficult, I will say. All right, so here's the first one that I looked at. All right. So when we're talking about cosecant and secant, right? Cosecant, right, always goes with your sine, and then secant always goes with your cosine, okay? And when you look at the videos that I sent you, the guy uses, he a lot of times will redraw his so that you're looking at sine or cosine, and that kind of helps you get the equation. And you can do that, which is fine. One thing that's really helpful that I think he does is kind of redrawing the midline on these. So let's do that first. We want to kind of figure out, okay, is there a translation here? Meaning, is it shifting up or down or something like that? Okay. So and if you remember, the formulas for these is that A sine B X minus C plus D. Okay. Those are the equations for these. well, actually, I've got this backwards. This is D. This is C. Okay. C is the vertical up and down shift. So if it's plus C, that would be moving it up. If it's minus C, that would be moving it down. This is your horizontal. Okay. So I'm looking at this. I'm going from here to here is 3. And then from here to here, because we're looking at this and this, is 5. So what you would do here is you would total that 3 plus 5 is 8, and then divide it by 2, and that would be the middle ground. So you're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. So this line right here is going to be our midline, just kind of cutting it in half, right? All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So what that means is our shift is -1. So our vertical shift, our C value, is equal to -1. And we're not really going to do a horizontal shift or whatever. No, that's the horizontal shift. Gosh, I am confusing you so much. This is your D value. We're not going to worry about the C value here. Okay. So this is your horizontal shift. We're moving over 1. All right. Then we are going to look at our amplitude. So since this is our baseline here, our amplitude is, you count 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so our A value is going to be 4. Okay, 4 this way and 4 down. All right. So what he did, he did isotopes in here. All right, so we're gonna draw our isotopes right here, 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 here. We got isotope here. So you'll see on the video that I sent you, he does these, a drawing of this, and what we can do is we can look at this, say, okay, looks like sine to me. All right, so I'm going to use cosecant as my equation for this one. And we still want to find, okay, we still want to find we don't have to deal with a vertical shift on this one. We still want to find, and we got our horizontal, but we need to find what our period would be, okay? And so if we look at this, our period is from here to here. So remember, you're doing 2 pi over your b, and we're going to let that equal to 4 pi here. And to solve this, we would do b times 4 pi equals 2 pi. And divide by 4 pi. And so we get b is 1/2. Okay. So at the end of this, we should end up with 4 cosecant of 1/2 x minus 1, because this is our D value. Okay. And again, we don't have a C value, so we just leave it just like that. Okay. I hope I didn't confuse you too much. And look at the 2 videos that I sent you. If you also want to Google finding equations of trig, writing equations of trigs, translations or transformations, there's a million up there that you could practice and look at. But anyway, I hope I didn't confuse you too much. Please email me if you're still really confused. All right. And again, don't stress out about this too much, because like I said, on the tests, these questions are going to be much, much easier, but these are much more difficult than they probably should be. But anyway, all right. Hope this helps some.